Alright, what's going on, you guys? It's Royce Jacob. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to Waves Weekly, series I post every weekend where we cover recent news and current events that I believe will impact the markets. These episodes are meant to be more chill, so sit back, grab yourself a drink. Right now, I'm drinking classic Ito-En green tea. Probably go through like 10 to 12 of these a week, so easy 10. Cheers to the weekend, you guys. I hope it's all safe and relaxing. Cheers to the week ahead as well. Let's get into it. All right, so as always, we'll go over each topic that we're going to be discussing, and then we'll dive into each one individually. To kick it off, we're going to spend a lot of time on this one. Earnings. Huge week of earnings next week. The title here is Jim Cramer's Week Ahead. Next week will be pivotal. So the reason I really like these articles, I've touched on these before, is because Cramer on his show, it has this great image of just all the earnings next week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, with the logo of each company that's announcing earnings, and just taking a bird's eye look at this image right here. Next week is a huge week for earnings, especially for retail. So we will go over this, you guys. I'll just give you guys my quick take on all of these that are announcing earnings, give you guys my take on what might happen, what these might do to the market. And yeah, there's a lot of exciting things to cover in here. So we will kick it off with this. We will then move on to some good old stimulus talk. It feels like it's been a minute or so since we've covered the stimulus. This is titled Pelosi Calls for Stimulus Talks Without Offering New Proposals. So again, you guys, the right and the left, unfortunately, are still butting heads. They're still not making things happen. We really need a stimulus before Christmas. If people don't get some cash in their pockets prior to Christmas, it's gonna be an even darker winter than it is due to these COVID cases. Okay, so we'll talk this. And then we'll finish it off, you guys. I really did not want to talk about the COVID cases all that much, just because this news is everywhere. But we have to cover it, and this goes into a little bit of vaccine news too. So I wanted to mix it up a little bit, really relate this to some of the stocks we talk about a lot on this channel as well. Powell: rising U.S. COVID cases threaten economic recovery. So again, unfortunately, you guys, it sucks, but that's the harsh reality. Sometimes the reality has been harsh over the past few months, and that is just the sad truth. But COVID cases are on the rise pretty much globally. Numbers are up. Every metric is up, which sucks. But again, you guys, we have to obtain an understanding of it, because realistically, it will have a significant impact on the markets, especially in some of the sectors we talk about a lot, like the COVID biotechs, like stocks like Moderna, Pfizer, etc. So we will cover this, and we'll finish it off there. Before we get into it, I want to mention this. I know you guys, other side now, I know you guys have all seen this, the new Waves canvas, you guys. This is actually huge. So this wall in the back, if you guys didn't know, is angled. That's why these canvases look at an angle. And this one is actually closer to the camera than this one. So this canvas is they actually look the same size. So it looks kind of good. Let me know what you guys think about it. But this is actually huge. I just ordered right after I got this one in. I was like, this thing is so clean. It's so sick. You guys can't really see it, but it's covered in like that kind of OG Robinhood teal green that I really like. And the Waves. Shout out to the Waves hat as well. But Waves canvas, super sick. I do have a smaller one coming in though, see if that looks better. But this looks, I like it. Let me know what you guys think. And of course, the OG Great Wave right there. Gotta keep that one in the shop. So let me know what you guys think. If you do want to add one of these to the Wave Cave for yourself, it is on the website. It'll be one of the first links down in the description. Really appreciate it if you check that out. And again, it just show your support for the Waves fam. This thing surely looks sick. It's on like this black water. You guys can't really see that. It just looks black. But it is on the black water, the Waves classic cursive Waves logo, with that kind of like teal neon green glow to it. So this thing's super sick. I will post it on the YouTube stories as well, or I will just make a post of the picture on YouTube as well if you guys want to check that out. But yeah, before we get into it, one more thing, please give the video a like if you do go on to gain value from it today. And subscribe to the channel if you're new around here, want to catch more content like this. Truly appreciate you guys. So let's kick it off with some earnings. I will just read a few paragraphs here getting into it. And I quote from Mr. Cramer, Mr. Mad Money himself: "If you're more worried about the virus than encouraged by the vaccine, next week will be pivotal for you." The Mad Money host said, "We hear from some major national retailers, and I think they'll have surprisingly positive story to tell." Moving down here, last quarter was one of the best we've seen in ages, likely because expectations were already lowered amid the ongoing health crisis. If you find yourself wondering why stocks can keep roaring when we're at an insane number of COVID infections, the answer is simple, the Mad Money host said. To paraphrase James Carville, it's the earnings, stupid. Big business is making a ton of money right now. Frankly, it's not that complicated. So again, you guys, earnings for the most part have been very impressive. If you guys have been keeping up over the past week or so, earnings have been as he said, like surprisingly impressive. I think there was a lot of pessimism around earnings, especially in these Q2, Q3 earnings that companies are announcing right now. Again, because of the pandemic, for very obvious reasons, people were skeptical about earnings. But there is a lot of, the markets are just ripping, and that's because business among publicly traded companies is good. Again, in this pandemic, you guys, right now, it's important to remember, which is another sad truth. Like, it's really the small to medium sized businesses that are really taking it on the chin right now. It's not these big publicly traded companies, especially the tech companies. Like, tech is this is like all the stars are aligning for tech heavy companies right now, which again, it really highlights that K-shaped recovery, really highlights that kind of wealth gap, which sucks, but that's the reality. That's why the markets are ripping right now, which is, as investors, is good from a moral perspective, from a human perspective. It sucks, but that's why we should consider ourselves fortunate as traders to be involved in these markets that are just ripping right now. So again, we will go over these right now. Monday, we have Palo Alto Networks. That's like a cloud security company, I believe. Please correct me on that if I'm wrong. Somewhat familiar with Palo Alto. They've done very good with this year. Again, very tech heavy. That's a Silicon Valley company right there, Palo Alto Networks. Tyson Foods, on the very opposite end of the spectrum of Palo Alto. That is American legacy brand. Love their chicken. It's probably super pumped with hormones and whatnot. But Tyson, it will be interesting to see that. That's very like middle America, just kind of, again, legacy, very OG. Walmart on Tuesday, Walmart, Home Depot, Kohl's, and NEO. So we'll finish it off with NEO, but Walmart, Home Depot. Obviously, Home Depot has been killing it lately just because people are renovating their homes. Everyone's at home. Everyone wants to beef up their kitchen and whatnot. Kohl's, kind of similar, more kind of clothing and stuff. Kohl's, I would bet that Walmart, especially because they've really been expanding their e-commerce presence with Walmart Plus. I believe it's called Walmart One. I think Walmart Plus, I think it's called. Please correct me on that if I'm wrong as well. Walmart, I wouldn't be surprised if they are going to be doing, they are going to definitely impress this quarter as well. So I am bullish on Walmart. Home Depot, it might be slowing down. Home renovation is probably slowing down a little bit. That's what I would guess. Kohl's, I would never trade Kohl's in my life. I'm not a fan of Kohl's personally, but that'll be interesting. Just kind of a discount big box retailer. Clothing retailer for the most part. I know they sell other stuff, but it's primarily clothing, right? And then NEO. So obviously Chinese EVs, this is the last video I posted, are absolutely on fire right now. XPeng and Li just impressed on earnings themselves. NEO did impress last quarter, so it will be interesting to see if NEO can impress. I personally think that NEO is probably going to correct. I don't think that the valuation it's at right now will warrant and even the best earnings, like the best possible earnings, just because volumes are still low. And I do think that whole market is getting super bubbly, especially NEO, because it was a leader in that Chinese EV auto space. So I do think NEO will likely correct next week. And if I was putting my money on it, I would say that NEO probably pulls back after earnings. Target, Lowe's, Walmart, Target, Home Depot, Lowe's, like that's pretty funny how it's staged right there. But Target, I'm a huge fan of Target. Target is like the only big box department store I go to personally. I'm a Target guy. I hate Walmart. I'm sorry to all of you who like Walmart, no offense, but I hate Walmart. I love Target. So, yeah. Big fan of Target. They'll probably impress because their online presence is great as well. I use their online, just order online, go pick it up. I love that. Lowe's in the exact same boat as Home Depot. I'm impartial to either. I like both. TJ Maxx, similar to Kohl's, which is weird. Man, you're really back-to-back here. Back-to-back with the competitors. TJ Maxx exactly the same as Kohl's, and NVIDIA, obviously one of the largest chip makers in the world. NVIDIA is probably killing it right now. So I'm not sure what NVIDIA is at on the charts. I'm not sure if it's at an all-time high right now. It's probably corrected with the rest of the NASDAQ, with the rest of the more the tech side of the markets. But NVIDIA, I'm sure their numbers are phenomenal, but I would still say they're probably, again, I haven't seen the charts, but I would say they're probably still near somewhat of a reasonable valuation, if not a little overpriced. Macy's, I don't think anyone's shopping at Macy's. I think Macy's is unfortunately a very dead brand. It's sad because I grew up with Macy's. I think all of us grew up with Macy's for the most part, and it's an American, like, iconic brand, but I just wouldn't bet that they're doing very good. Workday is an interesting one. I'm not exactly sure what Workday does. Please let me know in the comments down below what Workday does. Obviously, I could look it up, but not going to do that right now, just for the sake of being somewhat timely in this. But Workday, I know it's a SaaS. I know it's in kind of like the Slackish realm, but I'm not sure exactly what they do because they have work in the title. I associate that with labor. Could be completely wrong again, but I'm just going to stop talking about something I don't know about. So Workday, I mean, it's probably because it's just, I know it's software for a fact. I know it's software based, so it might be overvalued. Again, I haven't looked at it, but they're probably going to do, I don't know. Foot Locker, I mean, I can't imagine Foot Locker's doing very well either. I kind of put Foot Locker in the same camp as Macy's. But let me know down below, you guys, what you think about earnings. These are stocks to watch next week. That's why I put it in the title. So keep an eye on these stocks, especially if they're in their portfolio, in your portfolio, or if you are trading these stocks, or if you want to trade these stocks, just keep this in mind. Next week is going to be a very busy one. So moving on from there, Pelosi calls for stimulus talks without offering proposals. McConnell has new prominence after White House backs away. Senate Republican chief insists on smaller relief package. So again, right and left, very, very differing, especially when it comes to that price tag. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi called again for negotiations with Republicans on a fiscal stimulus package, saying the spike in COVID-19 cases is a red alert while stopping short of offering new proposals for a compromise. Our focus in the lame duck continues to be on COVID relief. This is a red alert, Pelosi said at a press briefing Friday at the Capitol, referring to the congressional session preceding the installation of the new administration in January. I urge Republicans to acknowledge the crisis and come to the table to work on COVID relief. So again, COVID is a huge, huge deal right now, you guys. Again, unfortunately, it is very real. Cases are up, and this couldn't be more. I haven't agreed with either side in this. I haven't been personally happy with how either side of this stimulus deal have been handling the situation, just because they're so opposed. Just meet in the middle somewhere, and then get another one done in a few months. But get money to people because it needs to be done. But I get especially now that cases are really spiking. I definitely side more with the Democrats, with Pelosi in this argument, because we need relief for COVID, because COVID is evidently becoming realer and realer by the day going into the winter. The House returns to session next week with no public schedule for any renewal and stimulus negotiations. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, on whom the White House this week effectively placed in charge of representing the Republican side on the issue, underscored Thursday's opposition to a package of the size Pelosi wants. Pelosi and Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer Thursday reiterated that their $2.4 trillion proposal needs to be the starting point for talks. McConnell has advocated about $500 billion, a top-line number well below Trump's administration's of roughly $1.9 trillion, negotiating position before Election Day. So 2.4 trillion and 500 billion is very, very different. That's about a 5x difference. So they need 1.5 trillion. Make it 1.5 trillion. Meet somewhere in the middle. Make it 1 trillion. Just again, get money out to people. It's not only good for us because we're involved in the markets. Obviously, the more that money is printed, the more devalued the dollar becomes, the more equities and assets, especially Bitcoin and gold, go up in price. Okay, so good if you're involved in the markets, good for people on the ground. They can buy Christmas presents for their loved ones. They can eat comfortably. They don't have to worry about where the next meal is coming from. So literally just get a stimulus out. It's pissing me off that it's taking this long. So moving on into the last topic. Again, you guys, sad we have to cover this, but that's just the world. Still riding high from Monday's vaccine news. Don't get too ahead of yourself, because with the virus now spreading, the next few months could be challenging. Fed Chair Jerome Powell warned at a European Central Bank event yesterday. First, we've got to deal with this. New cases and hospitalizations have risen in almost all 50 states, and Texas just became the first to pass 1 million confirmed cases. Parts of the economy are steadily recovering, but as a growing number of state and local governments reimpose restrictions on business activity and social life, people may lose confidence that it is safe to go out, Powell said. Flattening the curve is made even harder by widespread pandemic fatigue. Many people are reluctant to go through lockdowns again and are relaxing health safeguards. So again, you guys, it makes sense that in states like Texas, in states like the Midwest, people who realistically just kind of like red states, they not even red, but just states who more rural areas that aren't so central, that aren't cities, that are like in the middle of the country, they haven't treated COVID so seriously because they haven't experienced it, because it just hasn't made their way to many of their towns yet. And now that the virus, again, evolving into the pandemic. We're just getting later. Obviously, the later you go into this pandemic, the later you go into a virus or anything that's contagious, it's going to spread more and more across parts of the country and of the world that may haven't seen it, just because literally it hasn't been in your kind of ecosystem, in your proximity. So now that it's getting to those more niche areas, those smaller areas, those small town areas, it's becoming a lot more real to people, and I think people are really grasping the reality of what is a pretty serious disease. Again, we are getting better treatments, thank God, for companies like Regeneron. There's a lot, like, treatments are getting better. Vaccine news is really on its way, really coming home now, and that's great news. So I'm optimistic. I will remain optimistic, but it's very important just to stay safe and remember that this thing, it sucks that it's real, but it's real, and that goes with a lot of news right now. Can a vaccine fix things? We'll close it out here. Certainly, it's not going to be a pandemic for a lot longer, because I believe the vaccines are going to turn that around. Dr. Fauci said this week, in addition to Pfizer's big update, Moderna is expected to post good news about its mRNA vaccine in the coming days. So shout out Moderna, obviously a stock to watch this week. Again, you guys, check out Complete Portfolio if you want to know exactly how I'm trading Moderna. Me and the portfolio group had a great week with Moderna this week, I'll tell you that much. So I feel no guilt in plugging this in. If you're not part of the portfolio group, what are you doing? Join the Waves fam. But again, for real, it's going to be an exciting week for vaccines, especially it will be very interesting to see how these earnings do, because as we've said in the past, a lot of times this biotech sector does act as a hedge to traditional equities. I'm not saying it does well with equities, and it's doing now. Like this past week, stocks like Moderna did very well, while other equities did well as well. But sometimes when the markets downturn, a lot of capital will flow out of those into more promising sectors like the Save the World stocks like Moderna. But it could still take weeks to get approval and months to manufacture and distribute it, and even longer to inoculate most of the population. In the meantime, health officials are stressing the continued need to wear masks and social distance. So again, you guys, huge news. There's a lot of hype around the virus right now. So stocks to watch, always. I will make a stock talk about it probably mid next week. Obviously, talk about it in the newsletter every single morning. So another plug to the portfolio group and newsletter. But we'll make a video about the biotech boom. We'll make a biotech boom video going into probably the middle of next week. Very exciting times. I'm very bullish on this sector. From a fundamental perspective, of course, because there's so many eyes on COVID, and I think Save the World stocks are definitely going to see another round to the upside. So we will call it there, you guys. Let me know in the comments down below what you're excited about this week. If you're trading any of the earnings, what you think of the beautiful new Waves canvas. If you're going to pick one up, definitely let me know in the comments down below. I truly appreciate it if you guys do. Again, I will have a smaller one coming in soon, but please let me know what you think about it. I think this thing's super sick. I was so proud and happy when it came in. So let me know what you guys think about it, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend, and I'll catch you guys next week. So until next time, always remember, take action, make waves. Peace.